Get a roll call. Here.
Ted Wendler,
Present.
Victor Ramos is excused, Tim London is excused, Ed Fendley is excused, Tim Davis, Larry Coletti,
Present.
Nick Moster,
Here.
Bob Dork,
Here.
Gail Bellin,
Here.
Mike Leibarger, Nancy Epps, here, Christy Gillis,
Here.
Jason Oftenberg,
Present.
Maggie Ardito,
Here.
Elizabeth Bond, Adam Mengel, Amy Stroger, Daniel Nicholas, Trevor Martin, Suzette Cameron, online, Morgan Dayer, Megan Lindsay, Siva Persad, Ralph Hessler, Orna Bhattacharya.
Present.
We have a visible forum.
Right, great.
Well,
Let's stand for the pledge.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anybody wishing to make any public comments online? No, I did invite the people online.
Oh.
All righty. Do we have a motion for the virtual members?
I will provide a motion for the virtual members.
Second that.
Okay, so moved. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Action item A is review approval of the February 11th BPAC meeting. Any comments or concerns on last month's BPAC meeting?
I like to, on section 7, where it says me, references narrow sidewalks, that was in reference to the e-bike discussion and pedestrians and e-bikes and everybody sharing the narrow sidewalks. I wonder if that could be included. Just that my comment with regard to narrow sidewalks was they're being shared by many modes now, and this invites conflict. So I think the paraphrase of what I said, that the part was lost, was that it's hard to share all these modes on narrow sidewalks. So if that can somehow be incorporated.
Are you making a motion for that, or?
I don't know, I'm just saying it does not represent what I said, I think. I said it was in reference to, we invite conflict in e-bikes and pedestrians because the sidewalks are too narrow, not we urge planners to consider infrastructure than planning. Yes, I think planners should consider infrastructure. Duh.
Would you like to make an emotion?
It's okay, we can keep it. I didn't realize it required a motion. I was just trying to say, that's what I meant to say.
We can not approve.
No, no, that's fine, that's fine. I just,
You have to approve the minutes. Okay,
I was just pointing out that that was paraphrased beyond what I meant.
I would like a motion to approve the minutes with the addendum that Jason just said.
I second that motion.
Okay, and Jason, would you like to restate the addendum to what your intent was?
Yes, I would say Mr. Offenberg referenced narrow sidewalks on Narrow Road in regard to e-bikes and pedestrian sharing said space. The sidewalk should be wider.
Okay,
That's it. That's what I,
very good. May I have the ayes for the amended motion? Okay, and nays? All right. Motion passes. The minutes from last week are approved, last month are approved.
Thank you.
Action item A, review, B, we're looking for reappointment of BPAC Project Review Committee members. Those that are currently serving on that committee, are you wishing to do it again?
Sure.
Okay,
Yes.
sure.
a better way to ask the question, is there anybody that wishes not to serve on that committee that is currently on it?
Is Elizabeth Bonds still a member of this committee?
She's an alternate. So.
Yes.
Okay. So we need another member or two, or what do you
No.
think, Steve?
Have eight
We good?
members.
Okay,
Are we are usually allowed to open it up to new members if they so want to be on it. Is that correct?
Well, yes, and we're actually asking for two motions. One motion is to reappoint all of the current members that wish to continue to serve.
Hmm.
A second motion be to appoint any new members.
Okay,
If
there
we
you have,
have-
see the two motions now.
If we have any.
All right, I motion to approve and reappoint the current members that still want to be on it.
okay,
I second that.
all right. We have a motion, we have a second. The motion passes. The current members will remain on. Oh, I'm sorry. May I have the ayes for the motion?
Hey,
How about the nays? Anybody online that's a voting member? All right, now the motion passes. Okay. And we'd like another motion. We're looking for any new members that desire to be on the subcommittee. Okay,
You don't need a
right.
second motion.
Are there any new members that are interested in being on the project review committee?
Do we notice any geographical gaps that we would like represented? We have cities in the west and to the south. And
no, I'm on it.
yes, I'm just saying we have Over Beach. And it's just useful to have people who know all the areas. That's all. Just wanted to throw that out in case someone noticed a gap geographically that we could.
Maggie's to the,
Sorry.
I was gonna say Maggie's to the
Be
left.
more from Flagler County.
Or Palm Coast.
Larry.
I'm it.
So yes, we do have a representation for
Yes.
Flagler
Yeah.
County,
Yeah.
the subcommittee.
Wasn't there a second Flagler person here recently?
Last
Yes,
week there
Ed
was.
somebody.
There was a couple of Palm Coast and a couple of Flagler Beach people, but they don't seem to be here today.
We can't nominate them in their absence.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Yeah, we can
only make
presidents.
Yeah.
And we have a chance to nominate people later.
All right, looks like we don't have any new members for that committee. We don't need a motion. Okay, those that are on the TIP subcommittee, is there anybody desiring not to continue on that committee that is currently a member?
They bring all kinds of goodies and we all sit around and eat. Right.
Okay,
Need a motion?
well, I'm trying to figure out if we want any new members on it, or if we're doing it separate.
You have to be a voting member to join.
I believe you do. Is that correct, Colleen? Okay. Right, I'd like a motion to approve the existing members of the TIP committee.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All those that approve,
Aye.
those that don't. Motion passes, the existing TIP committee members will remain in place. Are there any members out there that are not on this committee that would like to be a member of the TIP committee? All right. Looks like we don't have any members. Next, we have presentations, and Emily Bush, Executive Director of Bike Week. Bike Walk. Sorry, I have the beard for Bike Week, okay?
Wrong bike.
Bike Week on my brain. Bike Walk Central Florida. We talking about the proposed. Reed Ellis.
Yes. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emily Bush. I'm the executive director of Bike Walk Central Florida. We are an advocacy nonprofit organization that covers Central Florida and beyond. Whoops, I didn't realize that. Oh, that's you. I'm sorry. Wrong one. I'm doing I'm on the other one first. Yeah. So I have two presentations for you this afternoon. I'm going to start with something hopefully inspiring and end with some data and some impact and implementation work that we're doing within Volusia and Flagler County. So I'll start out with what I'm calling the conservation corridor. Now, I do want to note that this is a partnership. Bike Walk Central Florida is supporting other organizations like the St. Johns River to Sea Loop Alliance, and Maggie's group is supporting us along with other organizations, and I'll explain those as I get into this. But today, what I'm presenting to you is this concept of a potential trail extension that I'm calling the conservation corridor. And this would actually connect three large conservation properties within the southernmost part of Volusia County. This includes connecting the newly acquired D Ranch Preserve that's owned by Conservation Florida. That's the little piece to the north, and I've got better maps that'll show you some zoomed in versions of this. To the south, the bigger piece there that's along Lake Monroe is the Lake Monroe Conservation Area owned and managed by the St. Johns Water Management District. And then on the other side of that is Beck Ranch Conservation Area. And that is also, so all of that land is now under conservation. There is a trail segment that is along 415, shared use path trail, however you might designate that. That is along the right side, or I should say the east portion of that facility. And that takes you up to Osteen, where the bridge flies over on the existing St. Johns River to Sea Loop Trail. So the idea would be to connect these conservation areas by having a trail segment down Reed Ellis. So that's that road that you see that is in between D Ranch and Lake Monroe Conservation Area. Then it would come up to a T here at Enterprise Osteen Road, then fork north to connect to the trail at Cortland, which currently has some wide sidewalks, can be used as like a buffer in between. And so that would create essentially a small little loop that would connect all these conservation areas off of the St. Johns River to Sea Loop, also a part of the Coast to Coast Trail. It would also allow those that are venturing into Volusia County to explore a little bit more. We know that the Lake Monroe Loop is getting complete. Seminole County is closing the gap down Celery Avenue, which would allow for a bigger connection down around Lake Monroe. A lot of cyclists are using that route already. And so we know that we have this opportunity. It makes sense to eventually put a trail down here. What a cool way and thing to do. However, we've got to cross 415, which is a major state highway. And so we've already had conversations with DOT. Actually, I'm probably getting ahead of myself here. So we need to fix that crossing. We recognize right now there is a striped crosswalk at that intersection that no one should ever use. And I say that as an expert in crosswalks. And so we've had the initial conversations with DOT. They are evaluating that intersection, hopefully within the next 4 to 6 weeks. Partly because of stacking for the left turning lane from 415 onto Reed Ellis. In 2018 was the last time they evaluated that intersection, and it was already at kind of the max of what they would consider having a free-flowing left-hand turning movement. So they're going to reevaluate that to see if it requires control. Then after that, then they determine what type of controlling device. Signal, roundabout, bridge, who knows, right? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, literally and figuratively, right? Whoops, okay, how do I advance the slides? I don't know what I'm doing. I should. I did.
Okay, it's the bottom.
Bottom, cool. All right. So some zoomed in shots here show you, and this again is just a line on a map We've looked at the right of way of both sides of Reed Ellis. Where I'm showing it on that northern side, I don't think is feasible, though that would be the best option because it would have the best connection to D Ranch, which will eventually have a nature center that has program funding from ECHO to support it. So Volusia County is very much in support of what D Ranch is trying to do. There is more right of way on the south side of that facility, but again, we'll have to let the engineers and the planners that do this work make that call. But right now we're just proposing this line on a map to show that this is an opportunity that we could explore. So I give you a little bit of close-ups here so that you can see where this would connect. And then here it is. So this is actually a map of D Ranch conservation. So they actually have proposed internal trails. This is a map of their internal trails. What I want to highlight, and it's really difficult to see, is at the very tip corner of that arrowhead that's pointing down, that is a trail opening that they are going to create soon within the next 30 days to allow for hikers to cross 415 and enter the property at the corner. So they already have intentions of providing opportunities to enter the property from that intersection. We did bring that up to DOT, so they are aware of that as well. So just another reason why we need to make that crossing in particular very safe for everyone to use. So next steps, I didn't realize I'm not a graphic designer and I did not have my marketing person do this presentation. So this is my skills, I apologize. So our next steps, we're going to follow up with DOT on that intersection and the results, whether or not it needs to be controlled. And then we are starting to build the support and advocacy for this trail connection. That's really what the next steps are. Does the community want this? Do other people in Volusia-Flagler want this to connect to these great conservation areas? If so, then we need to start determining what that feasibility and that alignment might look like and try to get it on those long-range master plans. So we've had conversations with the TPO, with the county, like I said, with DOT, and it's really just getting that momentum started and hopefully getting some momentum behind it and getting it on a map. So how can you help? Share this proposal. If you like this idea and want this to be something that you see in the future, then rally behind it. Help support this effort either through Maggie's organization or mine and your role on the TPO. You have an opportunity to say, I want this on the long-range transportation map, and this should be a priority. So use your voice as you can, and then tell your elected representation about it as well. Right now, we have not done the political conversations yet. We're just trying to put the feelers out and put the parts and pieces in to make sure that this is even feasible and realistic before we move forward. So with that, that was all I had there. Any other questions on that? And I will go back the other way to the map so you can see the whole thing.
A laser beam on your device?
Do I? I do. Oh, there it is. Yay. Okay.
Where the crossing is that you're concerned?
Yes. Okay. So let me start over. So welcome. This is conservation. No, I'm just kidding. So here.
Yes.
Right here.
Yeah.
So that is the 415 crossing. I'll actually go back and I'll show you here. So you can see this is an existing crosswalk that crosses to BPAC Ranch so that you can get into the facilities there. There is a sidewalk on the other side of 415. That's what that crosswalk takes you to, but there is no crosswalk that continues south, and there is no sidewalk that continues south, and there is no sidewalk on Reed Ellis.
Is the sidewalk you want to put in, will it be on the northeast side of Reed Ellis?
That's what I was saying. I'm not sure.
Not sure?
I'm not sure.
Because
well,
either way.
Yeah, the right of way where we have the space to put a trail more likely is going to be on the south side of that facility, or I guess the southeast side, west side. Right, instead of the north side. I have it shown on the north side because D Ranch wants it to feed into the nature center, so it makes sense to have it on the north side. I don't know. The issue is the availability of space. D Ranch, the original land manager who started this project with us, is no longer there, but we do have permission and we are building a relationship with the new guy and wants this. The original guy said he would move the fence. He would give property to the agency that's willing to put this in to keep it on the north side. Now, I don't know if that's felt the same way through leadership at Conservation Florida, I'm sure that they would be open because of the opportunities that that brings their nature center and the opportunity to explore the conservation and their purpose.
Else goes in that area, because I know the other side, they do hunting and stuff.
They do hunting. There's hiking that occurs as well. I know on Beck Ranch property, there's trail riding horses. D Ranch Preserve does not allow bicyclists. That is in the
That's my next
deed.
question.
Correct.
Ask you.
So that's why they wanted the trail, so that you can at least ride your bike and then hike, get back on your bike and go about your day, right? So they wanted it for multimodal access.
So there won't be a mountain bike per
No,
se area.
No, it's meant for hiking and horseback riding. So as an equestrian myself, I would never ride my horse from Beck Ranch to D Ranch and cross that. So we've got to, whatever that intersection control is, it's got to be designed for every user, two and four-legged, in order to safely get them across. Because that we do anticipate with a conservation corridor like this, that horseback riding and trail riding will be an important, these will be most of the users besides hikers.
Crosswalk for the horse.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
I just wanted to make a couple more points on behalf of cyclists, because Beck Ranch, of course, is heavily used by cyclists going around Lake Monroe.
Definitely.
And now that there will be this nature center, people will want to be crossing with their bikes over to B Ranch.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an important crossing. We want it to be a safe crossing. Most cyclists do not like roundabouts or traffic circles on highways. So that's going to be an issue, but somehow we want a safe crossing for cyclists. And the other important point is that this opens up closer relationship with the coming lake to lake tour trail through the conservation areas all the way down to Lake Okeechobee. So that really, this will really cement our relationship with that trail, which is going to be increasingly important. So there's a lot of good reasons. And of course, cyclists always love the loop of any length. You don't have to retrace your steps. So it's good. It's a good thing.
I've been down Reed Ellis no less than 1,000 times on the bike.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You ride on that?
Reed Ellis, yeah. The loop going around the lake.
Okay.
I mean, I see, I live on Enterprise Osteen, so I use Reed Ellis every day. And so I see cyclists all the time on my roadway, but they should. It's a beautiful facility. So, and
Remind us, what are the speeds on the 417?
yeah, so 415 actually at this intersection goes down to 45 miles an hour, but nobody is abiding by that. And that is part of the reason why DOT is looking at that intersection control. It is 55 posted right before that change at that intersection. Also the left-hand turn lane is not long enough based on the speed that drivers are actually doing and not where that speed is posted at that time. Sure. And so they're looking at extending that. Like me with a horse trailer, I have to do 40 just to get into that and be able to stop in time at that intersection. So it definitely is not built for the use that it sees now. But that intersection in and of itself is an issue. Reed Ellis is 45. We did a speed study in 2024 with Volusia County Public Works, and it came back with the 85th percentile at 56 miles an hour. So not surprising. There's not really anything that they can do to reduce that speed at this point because that facility has no shoulders. It's a rural road. So other than doing some rumble strips in some really specific areas, which they have where you have it connecting up here at where Enterprise Osteen connects. It's kind of a weird, funky intersection there. So you have some rumble strips there. Other than that, I'm really not sure how you're going to be able to control the speed. On Enterprise Osteen, it's 35 through there. Volusia County does sit on that facility almost weekly to control speed. There's lots of speeding down that facility. But
sounds like a revenue opportunity.
if you made money off of tickets, sure. But unfortunately, they don't.
Speeding ticket opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've actually, because after Volusia County did that, we shared that information about the 85th percentile on Reed Ellis with the sheriff's office. They weren't surprised, but since then, I've seen them sit out there at the St. John's property to start monitoring speed. There is a new crosswalk that we were able to advocate for and get installed between the two facilities. It is not lit, but at least the signage exists, and that was part of why we had to do the speed studies to figure out what the signage and striping was necessary there. So. Okay.
I have a question. I know you live in that area. I'm trying to figure out exactly where Beck Ranch is in relationship to the overpass that I'm very familiar with on 415. How many miles to the, I guess would be
I think about
south,
3 or 4 miles.
Yeah, it's not,
Yeah.
it'd be south of it.
but it's south
So-
of it, right?
Yeah, south,
Okay.
very close to.
Right. So here's the bridge up here. Here's the bridges right here
Mhm.
and
There's
here's
another underpass down by the canal, down by the river.
down here. Yeah.
Come all the way down and connect to it and then go back. That's 6 miles round trip probably.
And then celery, what I was talking about earlier, this is celery. So this is currently under construction for a trail that will connect to the wide sidewalk at that intersection and connect to 415 and north. So
That'll be a much welcome.
yes, we were all very, when it broke ground, I was like, yay. I served on the Seminole County Parks and Rec Advisory Board, so I helped prioritize that trail. Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any other questions?
No.
Okay,
Good job. Thank you.
thank you.
Our next presentation is by Todd. Oh, you did say you're doing two.
I did. That's
Sorry.
okay. Do you want to, I didn't know if you wanted to sit down.
No, no,
stand
no.
up. I mean, I can be as formal or informal. Okay, I'm going to run right into my second presentation then. This is an update on the Best Foot Forward Pedestrian Safety Program that is being administered in Volusia counties and Flagler County. The Volusia County program right now is funded by FDOT. The Flagler County component of that program is funded by the TPO. So thank all of you for making that a priority. And we're doing some really great work in Flagler County, and I can't wait to share with you what we've been up to. So if you're not familiar with our program, I'm going to give a quick overview. This program was designed based on a high visibility enforcement on driver compliance with pedestrian right-of-way laws study back in 2013. And what this NHTSA study basically looked at was how engineering, enforcement, and education could improve driver compliance at marked crosswalks, basically stopping for people to let them cross the road as the Florida law requires. We do all of these components as well as evaluate the driver yield rate, and I will go over how we do that in a minute, but all of that is compiled into the program. So we use those 3 E's and that 4th E to determine which enforce, educate, or engineer we need to more focus on to get drivers to stop for people in marked crosswalks. We are doing this now in a very large footprint. We started out in Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties originally, then grew to what you see is the northeastern expansion. So this year we're all the way up in Jacksonville. Very excited. And we are all the way west as Polk County. Maybe Tampa will be our next region, not really sure. But here's all the people that we work with. We bring together people from Public Works, Transportation Planning, our law enforcement partners, school districts, the health and advocacy groups that need to be a part of this, and really anybody who's interested in pedestrian safety, regardless of what your profession or what you might be working on. So we bring all of these people together to have these robust conversations, talk about the data, talk about the recommendations and options, and it's those program partners that really guide how our staff and we use our resources to give the information back to the partners that they need to improve driver compliance and pedestrian safety. So our evaluation methods are pretty simple. We put our foot in the crosswalk to show intent to cross the road. We do so by marking and flagging out what we call our dilemma zone, which is our safe stopping distance. So we don't just jump out in front of cars. That's super dangerous and against the law. So don't do that. We mark out either with a flag, or if it's been properly designed, it has advanced warning signs that meet these distances, and it's based on the speed that's posted. We tend to give drivers the benefit of the doubt and push that out 5-10 miles per hour. So we'll extend that even so to make it very obvious and give the driver plenty of time to stop for us. But we head out, put our foot in that marked crosswalk. Driver can do one of 3 things. They either stop for us and patiently let us cross the road. They slam on their brakes and they're like, oh my God, someone's there. give you the finger, the nice wave, either one or both, right? Or they just blow right by you, right? We've all been there and experienced probably every single one of those scenarios. So our data collectors mark that down. They mark whether or not that driver had to hit their brakes and had a short stop, whether or not they gave the pedestrian plenty of room, right? You hate to feel that car on your leg as you're walking or your body, right? So how much space did they give you? Then we'll take observations of other users in the area. How many people are walking? How many people are biking, using other types of devices? Where are they crossing? Are they using the crosswalk? Or are they mid-block crossing? So we look at all the various factors. What are the land uses around there? And we do this over 20 stage crossings, 2 different times of the day. Put all of this together and give this information back to the local partner. But we don't just do this one time. We do this 5 times throughout the year. So we'll go do education and enforcement and see how that continues to hopefully trend upwards as we continue to educate the driving population and our pedestrians as well. So I'm going to give you some insights on the program. This is program-wide data. So we monitored over 100 crosswalks across the 7 counties that we were operating in last year. And of those, I'm going to go through some of our engineering highlights. I also have education and enforcement highlights for you all as well. When you start with delineator posts near crosswalks, it was the most effective low-cost engineering solution that improved the driver yield rate. On average, almost 30%. Little flex posts. Super simple, but that vertical deflection, that vertical piece of plastic makes you go, whoa, I need to slow down. I don't want to hit that, right? And so that's why we're seeing those increases in the driver yield rate. We've also had a lot of partners see that the partners that piloted this originally, these flex posts aren't getting struck like a lot of naysayers would say, oh, I've got to replace them all the time. That's not what we're finding. What we are finding, though, that it is a great, cheap solution to help protect people and increase the driver yield rate. So we're using this more. Partners are recognizing that, and they're starting to install them more and use them more in those areas. Speed humps ahead of the crosswalk actually have a higher driver yield rate than raised crosswalks themselves because the driver is slower. They recognize that someone's there and they are more likely to stop than if they were already heading over that hump. We've done this now in 4 different locations at, I think, 6 or 8 different crosswalks. I need to verify that. But we now have enough of a sample size to know that the raised crosswalk, the speed hump ahead of a crosswalk instead of the raised crosswalk is really the way to go. Downtown Kissimmee has that. So that's a really great place to look at a before and after example. And then by beacon type, we were able to really pull out all the data to show which one's effective and which ones are not. If you have a consistent circular flashing beacon that just does this all the time, there is no impact of the driver yield rate. You get numb to it. You're going to just drive right past it. It has absolutely no impact. A rectangular rapid flashing beacon, those on-demand push buttons, when used, have a 73% improved driver yield rate, and pedestrian hybrid beacons have a 90%, so super effective. However, do remember that where those are used are on multiple lane facilities, and so they are treated more like a stop condition, like an intersection, right? So those you're going to be able to find. I think you guys, I'm not sure where you all have one here. I know there's one in Seminole County and several in Orange County.
One in front of Mainland High School.
Okay.
On ISP.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Yep. So these, they're more prevalent. They are coming more to FDOT's toolbox to be used to get people across these state highway systems safely. Okay, so we have been monitoring South Beach Street and Cedar Street. This had 5 enforcements with over 95 traffic stops. There was a sign waving event that was conducted here. When we started, we had a 34% driver yield rate. When we ended after doing all of that work, it is at 45%. So just with enforcement and just with a sign waving, we were able to increase the driver yield rate. No engineering necessary, right? Just some boots on the ground, literally and figuratively. Over at Ocean Shore Boulevard and Tom Rennick Park, Volusia County Sheriff's loves to enforce this location. They've done it 5 times and handed out a whopping 136 traffic citations or warnings. It was at 34% before, and a 31% increase. That's because they've been consistently out there every enforcement. So hopefully drivers by now recognize that they've got to yield to people trying to cross. Here's all the crosswalks that we monitor in Volusia County. So you can see we collect all types of different data. Here's the speed limit, if it's available, the average daily trips, so the number of traffic that is occurring, the number of lanes, what type of crossing it is, if it has a signal, and if we monitor it in 2025 versus 2026. So you can see all of them there. I also can provide this to you in GIS form if you'd like it, or in a PDF as well. You also have this in your packet. So I'm going to keep going, talk about Flagler County. This is Ocean Shoulder Boulevard at Gamble Rogers State Park. They've only done one enforcement to date with 18 traffic stops. We've had a sign waving event and have increased 7 points already. So that's huge. We're going to continue to monitor that one and hopefully see an increase there. Over in Flagler County, a PHB, Ocean 3rd Street has a PHB that was installed while we were taking data. So we got the before data. This is with the RFB that was temporarily put in. So that was at 63%. When they put in the PHB, it went to 91%. Yes.
So the before and after numbers are the average of 5 samplings.
Correct. And here's our Flagler crosswalks for you. So you can see all the information there. Again, I went over all the things that we cover. We cover a lot more information here. I'm just not going to put it out on a spreadsheet for you. But if you want the information, we are happy to share it.
So I did a bike ride this morning and I was at Old Kings Road and Town Center Boulevard. Right now, that sidewalk is closed. It has been this is the 3rd day. So you can't get from one section of the Lehigh Trail to the second section. So we had to take the road, cross, because it's shut down.
Right.
So I think that's pretty dangerous, but we had no choice because then there's the 95 bridge. So you can't just go around it, it's pretty bad. And then my second, on the same bike ride, we went, let me see, State Road 100 and Belterre, which is in the middle there. We crossed on 100, crossing Belterre. And that car was maybe less than 10 feet from the bikes. And that's a 4-lane crossing. So, they have a lot of notice that we're coming, but they're cutting in every chance they get.
Yeah.
So it was not dangerous, but it was close. And
good to know.
And that's today.
That's just today.
Yes. And I know we've been out there and, it works when they're out there. But that's all I want to say on that.
So to your point, when we go on and we see that there might be construction that we have been notified or maybe a sign doesn't work, it's been removed, we immediately contact our Public Works Department partner and say, hey, this is out of service. This needs maintenance. Not in this presentation, but in a presentation in Orange County, there was a community that had a tree branch that had blocked the pedestrian signal. All we did was say, hey, can you remove the tree in front of the sign or this branch? They came and did it, and it was an 11% driver yield rate increase just by removing that branch so people could see the sign, right?
Yep.
So that's important, and that's a lot of what we do. If something's under construction, we're not going to collect data there until it is in its final form, so that we can. I have a whole special thing on MOT for bikes and peds that I won't get into that soapbox right now, but we can chat about that afterwards because that is definitely missing in our space and something that we absolutely need to have policies for. Because you can close a road or a lane and you've got to be able to, take traffic, but you can close a sidewalk and you don't have to do any of that. It will change. That has changed at the federal level. When the state adopts that, though, things hopefully will change for the better as well. All right. Yes, Maggie.
I wondered if you had any plans for 1792 and Berkson Drive, because in my opinion, that's one of the most dangerous intersections on any Sun Trail.
No, the program partners choose the crosswalk locations. So if the partners decide that that is one that they want to look at, then we will certainly look at it. But those are decided by the municipalities and the county that's a part of that program. So if you want them to look at it, then that's the channel to go through.
We want you to look at it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah. Any other questions on this before I move on? Yeah, because I'm not done with the presentation yet. So before we get into more questions, then through it real quick. Yeah. All right. So if there's no other questions on this data, I'm going to move on. Cool. So our enforcement insights, when driver yield rates are improved, they're improved 100% of the time when these three conditions are met. It's enforced over a 2-year period. It's enforced in 2 different seasons. So it's not the same like spring or fall every year. It's spring and fall. Or if it's 4 travel lanes or less. So the standard kind of roadways that we like to enforce. 8 crosswalks met that criteria last year and improved an average of 13%. So what we're trying to prove is that enforcement does move the needle. We don't necessarily need to go and re-engineer every single crosswalk. We might just need to do enforcement in order to improve the driver yield rate. 4 met this criteria the year prior and improved 14%. So we're seeing some consistencies, and we're continuing to look at that methodology and that approach to improving the driver yield rate through enforcement this year as well as we continue within the program. Our education, we've been at quite a few events over the past year. We love to get pictures and selfies and all the things. We also started collecting conversations. And so we started writing down prompts for our outreach contractors and our staff to ask the public when they're out in the community. And so we asked them how they feel walking and biking. Have they had any close calls? Is there something that you'd like to see improved in your neighborhood? So we take all that information down and we actually give that back to our steering committee partners, the partners that are in the program, and say, hey, this is what the community is telling us, right? And we've actually gotten some crosswalks that we monitor out of that. We've been able to do some events because people have reached out about this HOA is allowing this to happen, or you really need to talk to these people, right? So it's really allowing us to be a little bit more specific with our resources where the community thinks we need to be, and providing that continual communication to the partners about what the community is saying about walking and biking in their neighborhoods. So these are just some examples of what we're able to collect. We have a long list of these conversational quotes. So if you'd like to look at them, we can definitely provide those to you. So education, we started doing sign wavings last year as a way to get at the crosswalk and educate drivers at the crosswalk. It's really challenging to do presentations and events near the crosswalk to try to influence driver behavior. So we just naturally prior used to try to go to the biggest events and try to get as many eyeballs on our work as possible. Now we're being specific and it's paying off. As you can see, we've increased the driver yield rate by doing these sign wavings now almost 11%. And we have that over 8 crosswalks across the 9 counties that we operated in last year. And so we're able to show that if we can do either one, if an enforcement can't take place, we can go out and do a sign waving and increase the driver yield rate as well. So it just gives us more tools in our toolbox. Yes.
So what does a sign waving event look like? Do you do it more than one day?
We just do it one day. It's a blitz. So we go out for an hour or 2 and we just wave signs. Hey, slow down. Did you know that this crosswalk only has a driver yield rate of 7% and we're at an elementary school, right? So we have signs designed to say, phone down. I don't know if I have pictures in here, but we've got different.
So you test it before, you spend 2 hours waving signs one time and then test it again?
So we go and collect data, right? And we show where the driver yield rate is. And then we go back and we do the sign waving, and then we come back and we collect data afterwards. And we did that across 8 different crosswalks at 8 different locations.
But you only wave signs for 2 hours one time.
Correct.
And you had 11%.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes. It's average. So one crosswalk might be 5, another might be 12 or 13, one might be 14. I'm not sure. I think the 8 crosswalks were all 8 different crosswalks, but I can go back and verify that data as well. We did a couple locations in the city of Orlando more than once because it was necessary to do more than once. And I'm not sure if that data is wrapped up into that number, but I can verify that for you. But yeah, that we've only done once and we show that increase. Similar to the enforcements. They go out and do an enforcement one time for a couple hours. It's a detail. They just do that enforcement. And we collect the data before and after and show that there is increases. A lot of times with enforcement, it's temporary. After they do the enforcement, drivers are a little bit more hesitant, right? They're just pulling people over, so I'm going to slow down, right? I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going to be cognizant. And then eventually that wanes. So that's why we show that if you're consistent with enforcement, then you'll have that consistent improvement in the driver yield rate. If you do it one and done, it doesn't necessarily hold. We were only doing these sign wavings just last year, so we don't know yet if they're going to hold. So far, we're showing that it is holding at 11%, but we still need another year of data to verify that, and that's what we're working on now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Emily, when you do the two, do you do them the same day in the same time? In other words, the first event's on a Monday, is the second one on a Monday, or could it be on a Saturday? And is the time, if it was in the morning, still in the morning?
You're talking about collecting data or the?
Yeah, well, you said you have your baseline,
Correct. So we,
you're getting your numbers,
Mhm.
and then you're going back out and doing it again. I'm just trying to understand
yeah,
if the days are the same, the times are the same, because you'll have more traffic or less traffic
right.
in
So
the evening on the weekends.
that's why we use the average, because we do go out at different times.
Okay.
We want to take the spot data to see if maybe in the afternoon, there's an uptick in pedestrian activity or there's an uptick in traffic. So what do we need to bolster then if there's a lower driver yield rate in the afternoon because of these factors versus the morning time when our data collectors are there? So a lot of times providing that range of when they go out is really critical. We show an average here just to provide the summary to the public and to you all, but deep down, we do analyze all those specific notes of the data and make sure that we get that back to the partners so they know specifically when these issues are occurring. If they are occurring at ranges of time. Lots of times, it's a flat out percentage that's usually pretty consistent regardless, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other? Sure.
You have these signs available if we want to do a blitz?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. We always request our partners to let us know if you want to borrow them, use them. We'll go out there with you. We often invite our partners to participate. We do let the TPO know. So maybe in the future, just let everybody here know. And if you want to go do one yourself and you want to borrow some signs, please let me know. We're happy to let you have them and give them back. If you want to buy them, we can certainly work out a deal. So one of the things that we're hearing, we go out and we do a test in our community as well. We have a test of a crosswalk, and I think I've done this with you all in past presentations. And we show a signalized crosswalk or a crosswalk with the ladder striping. We show just the vertical lines, and then we show one crosswalk without any of it. And we say which one's a legal crosswalk to the community. And they always pick the ones that are marked. And they never choose the one that's unmarked. And so that's our educational aspect. That's the kind of time we say pedestrians have the right of way, even if they're not marked, right? Our program doesn't focus on the unmarked data, but we're talking about educating all the drivers of what they need to be aware of when they're out in the space, in driving in public. And then many drivers are concerned. Many people are concerned about the rise in electric bike and scooter usage. We have lots of dialogue about that in our community conversations. All of that, which we take back and tell our partners as well. They're influencing policy on these types of issues. So here's the program-wide data of last year. Over 100 crosswalks monitored. As you can see, we did over 21,000 staged crossings. So that's just how many times one of our data collectors crossed the road. It's a lot of data that they're collecting every single time they cross the road. We had over 241 engineering recommendations provided to our partners last year. Only 21 were active in making those recommendations come to life. And that actually increased the driver yield rate of those 21 crosswalks an average of 26%. We did 113 crosswalk details. That's the number of crosswalks that were enforced last year that handed out over 900 warnings and almost 800 citations. And on the education side, we attended 97 events and presentations and or sign wavings, and we reached over 16,000 people. Now, the 16,000 number is actual conversations that we have. We don't count event participants. We count those actual community conversations. So that's how many people we actually talk to about the program. That does not include drivers driving by that we're waving signs at, right? Because we don't know if they saw our sign or not. And then the 6,900 is how many resources, information we're handing out. We have a few of our own, but we like to share DOT resources, especially if there's an RFB or a PHB or a traffic circle. We try to bring out the specific educational material that's relevant to where we're located. And that's my team, not just me that's behind this effort doing this. I have a whole great staff that's dedicated and passionate to this work. So thank you all for the time that you've given me today, and I'm happy to answer any additional questions you may have.
So for all the data that you collected and all the events that you had, was it as you expected? And number two, what big surprises came to light?
Good question. It was as expected. We've been operating this program for over a decade now, so we know kind of the what to expect. I would say what were some surprises for us, or the willingness for some of our community partners to do the sign wavings, for example, to take to that and be like, yes, I want to be out on the street. And it was really the law enforcement that really surprised me, because they're taxed, they're asked to do so much with such little time and resources that they have. But those officers knew that pedestrian safety was such an important thing for them. They were willing to take an hour of their time off their bike, off wherever, and make sure that drivers recognize that they were there in full uniform, waving that sign, not trying to enforce anything, right? So it's also about the community relation aspect of it too, which is why we always make sure our law enforcement partners are invited to our sign wavings, because we want to try to provide a different opportunity for our law enforcement to engage positively with the community as well. So that would be the surprise. We hadn't really done these a whole lot in Orange and Seminole County and Osceola. We didn't get a whole lot of, we got our typical partners that come out. DOT is a huge supporter of that. So, but not really the law enforcement. But up here in Flagler specifically, and in Volusia County, it was really the law enforcement that clung on to the sign wavings. And I'm all here for it. I love it. But great question. Thank you.
So here's what I'd like to see. You know,
Let me get a pen.
every couple of years. Every couple of years, we all have to get our registrations renewed. And after so many years, you have to get your driver's license.
Mhm.
Why can't these counties, you know, Flagler, Volusia, whatever, when you get your registration renewed, you know, you get a piece of paper with a little sticker on it. And why can't they have some of this information on there so that people have to look at it? And say,
Yes.
oh, yeah. Or especially one of the worst things is when I moved here from Vermont, okay? 12 years ago, 13 years ago. When I came down, the only test I had to take was a vision test. All right? I did not have to know what Florida's laws were.
Mm.
I just assumed they were the same as Vermont. Well, they're not. So I'd like to see when people getting a new driver's license or, you know, coming into the state to say, hey, these are, you know, these are some of our Florida laws. So people know that, hey, bikes have the same right in a crosswalk as pedestrians.
Mhm.
Most states don't, at least up north. So that's just my 2 cents.
So we are doing that now. With Orange County, we partner with the tax collector. So
Oh, yes.
anytime you register or you get a new driver's license, they get one of our pamphlets that explains the law,
Yeah.
and it explains it in graphic format, right? So we do have it also translated in, I think, 4 different languages. That's just with Orange County because the tax collector is really independent, like they're independent, right? So we've built that relationship with them. We've got to start doing that elsewhere. We have done individual DMVs where we've done a pop-up, handed out that information, just anybody coming in and out of those offices. Additionally, we've gotten involved with Visit Florida. So now our tear sheets and our information are at the visitor center. So you drive into Florida, you stop in and you're getting all the, where it is Disney and SeaWorld and all the thing. You're going to get, hopefully, information on our driver yield laws as well. So we are slowly working on that. Just as a small nonprofit with, you know, a shoestring budget, we needed to make sure that our resources were in our local community. But now that we've grown and expanded so much, we've got the resources to be able to start marketing that across the state and to those specific audiences you mentioned.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love your soap. I love it. Yes.
I'm curious on if Daytona Beach Shores crossing the A1A, there's some lovely crosswalks where you push the button and the lights go off
Mhm.
and it's go halfway and there's another button. You
Yes.
push it, you go the rest of the way. And I've noticed that just no data, but just me personally noticing that really made a difference in cars noticing and stopping
Mhm.
for pedestrians. However, they seem a little glitchy.
Yes.
So they don't always, you press the button and they don't always activate.
Mhm.
And I struggle with like, how often do I report that? Or like, I don't, you know, like I that unexpected plot, because then it worries me that pedestrians are used to thinking that they have more protection than they actually do. I just don't really Do you have advice for how to handle that
Yeah,
situation?
if you have a contact at, if you're in with your elected representative, let them know. If you have the in at the Public Works Department, let them know. Let us know, because we do have those contacts too and can make sure. And it depends on who maintains it. So I think there it might be, I don't know if it's DOT or not. It is, thank you. So that's what I thought. And so no, we'll contact DOT and be like, hey, this doesn't work. And usually they're very quick about replacing those things. Sometimes it might be the wiring. They might replace a bulb and it's still glitchy and it might be something that came, so they have to investigate that further. But without us telling them, they're not gonna know. So, great question.
So is Dirksen and Mansion Boulevard still the lowest one? That's my first question, or the worst?
I don't think it was this year, but let's go back and
I
check.
noticed it got even worse. But my question is statistical significance. So it went from like 17 to 11, but what are the error bars? Because you have 5 measurements, so you have a standard deviation and a mean, right? So
Yes.
is 11 really different from 17, or the error bars make them consistent?
I'd have to go back and look at the specific data. We do have a female and a male data collector, and that matters. So sometimes if it's primarily our female data collector or last year, that may be why it's, or maybe this year, because what we tend to find is that if you're a bigger individual, the vehicle is more likely to yield to you than if you're a smaller individual. And so our gentleman is a big dude. So he commands a little bit more yielding than others. And we do recognize in the data as well.
Gotcha.
So that could be
There are
also.
many variables.
Correct. And we do notate who the data collector is so that we can single out those variables and say, okay, we might need to mix it up and do one month and one the other so that we can provide a better average if there is that indifference. It really depends on the community. In some areas, they're the exact same. In other communities, it's a stark difference.
The Alliance is very passionate about that one because it connects the trail to the DeBerry Museum, or the
DeBerry Hall and
DeBerry Hall.
Yep. Yes, and I know the last I talked to Volusia County, they had the temporary speed feedback signs up. They took those down. They are trying to, there's the turn lane into that neighborhood where the trail crossing is. They're going to try to delineate that so that the trail crossing or the crossing itself is a little tighter and shorter so that you're not waiting where the trail and that pretend right turn lane lives. It would be further out so that you would be standing essentially where that right turn lane is. They are having to figure out some longer term solutions because of the speed limit on that facility. I've suggested many a times that they need to drop it. 45 is just not, it shouldn't be 45. To Maggie's point, that whole facility is along the River to Sea Loop there, and is, that facility is tucked back in certain areas, but in other areas it is right adjacent to that facility. So anyway, another soapbox that I
I should probably know this, but where does your funding come from?
Sure, it comes from lots of our local government partners. So the TPO is one of our funders. The local governments also fund this work. So in Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, they fund it themselves. So City of Orlando pays for it. If we're in Apopka, they pay for it. So it's all independent. In the DOT areas where we're expanding the program, DOT is paying for it for the first 3 years, and it's kind of a schedule or a scaling down. So they'll pay 100% and then 50% and then 25%, and then it's on the partners themselves if they want to continue in the program. But it is a part of their Target Zero efforts to reduce serious injuries and fatalities on our roadways.
And then one more question. So we have a ton of new signalized crossings in DeLand. Have you been to DeLand yet? Or would you come there if you haven't?
I go to DeLand once a month. I'm on I'm on the Volusia County Planning and Zoning Board, the PLDRC. So I'm there once a month. Okay. So yes, I see all of them. And I love.
We counted 11 new ones. Just amazing.
Yes.
People use, and they use them.
Mm-hmm.
What fraction of your budget is member supported? Like I give you like $5 a month. How much?
You're the only one, Jason. You're the only one. Seriously, he is the only one. We thank you for your continued commitment to our organization. It matters. It absolutely matters. We are looking at building a membership program because we are starting to get more into the advocacy space, and that is not and will not be funded by our programs. That has to come from fundraising. So the membership program, hopefully we'll be rolling that out in 2027. That will hopefully Jason, you're going to be our legacy member. We're going to put you up on a pedestal and be like, this is who you should aspire to be, right? Should name it after you, Jason. And so
Say one.
we'll get you a car, yeah. But that's hopefully we're going to grow, like I said, the opportunity. And then that's who we're hoping to get volunteers for sign wavings. Or if we do some of our youth safety events, if you want to come out and do helmet fitting. So we're trying to draw more from the community to get them involved and let their voices be heard and let them help us in this mission to improve safety for everyone. Awesome.
Hey, Emily.
Yes.
I'm Volusia-Flagler County Engineer.
Nice.
Just want to say, really appreciate your partnership and what you bring to the table, your coordination, communication with law enforcement, with the school board, and everyone. You know, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And in the past year, we have experienced that, and I appreciate that. And
The TTO. Yeah.
You sponsor that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's wonderful. That's the kind of stuff we love to hear. Right? All right. Any other questions for me? I'm going to hang around after so we can have all the soapbox conversation. Thank you.
Yay.
Or should I just leave?
Okay, we have a presentation by Ty Gardner, FDOT.
Yes.
Discussion on the Clyde Morris Boulevard corridor improvement.
Well, good afternoon and thank you. First, after your question, they should work. So please call us if they don't. You're getting 6 more brand new ones. And in addition to just the rapid flashing beacons, we're also doing the in-road lighting, like we've done up in the Ormond section. So we're working with those to try to work out the details of all that, but it's been very successful, those crossings. So thank you for the feedback on that. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about Clyde Morris Boulevard. I am Ty Garner. I'm the project manager for the Department of Transportation. I know your agenda said Jim Strohs. I am not Jim Strohs. But if you were at the TPO meeting, this is going to look very familiar because Director Strohs did do the presentation for the TPO. So I'll run through the project. I'll take questions as we go or at the end, whatever works best for y'all. What I'd like to do is I want to go through some of the improvements that we're making out there. A lot of safety improvements for all the users, for pedestrians, for bicyclists, for the drivers. And as you know, we got a lot of students out here, not just Embry-Riddle, but mainland high schools. So we're doing a lot to improve all the safety. Project overview, we're going to mill and resurface the road from Bevel Road to Mason Avenue. If you're familiar with it, there's some patches in there that are desperately in need of new pavement. From International Speedway, let me back up just a little bit. In order to take advantage of the funding and to leverage our ability to make these improvements, we're producing 3 separate construction projects, chopping it up into smaller pieces, which I'm going to go to. So, and I'll walk each of you through the different segments. Generally speaking, though, from International Speedway to Bevel Road, we're adding a 14-foot multi-use path on the west side of the road.
Nice.
We're adding an 8-foot sidewalk on the east side of the road. We're reducing the lane widths in some cases down to 11 feet. We're putting in raised medians. We're doing landscaping. We're upgrading the traffic signals to mast arms, the pedestrian push buttons at all of the signalized intersections were brought up to current standards. Of course, the ADA ramps. And also something we're going to talk a little more about is we're adding a pedestrian underpass at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Rather unusual for this part of the country. However, we're going to do it.
Be keeping the overpass. I'm just.
Yes, they will.
Okay.
Yes. The ROTC has to use that, from what I've been told. So as I mentioned, we're going to break it up into 3 separate segments. The first segment is from Richard Petty Boulevard to International Speedway Boulevard. The canal that's on the west side of there by the Embry-Riddle parking lot used to be their backup soccer field or practice soccer field. We're going to pipe that canal. And in order to, once we get it done piped and covered, we're going to put in a 14-foot trail along that whole side of the road from International Speedway up to Richard Petty. We're going to reconstruct the signal at Richard Petty. It's string pole now. We're going to use mast arms there. We're going to upgrade all the pedestrian push buttons. And while we're doing that, we're going to work with the city of Daytona Beach and Florida Power and Light to relocate some of their utilities where the tunnel's going to go, which is going to be in segment 2. So we want to try to get ahead of that in advance of that. Our current schedule. We're going to open the bids in fall of 26. So sometime after, late summer, early fall. We hope to get construction started, and I've got a slide later that shows the construction sequences, but we're going to try to get under construction by December of this year. The current budget, their estimated cost for the construction is $9.8 million. Segment 2, we broke it up into two pieces for the presentation purposes, but it's one project. So segment 2A is from Bellevue/Aviation Parkway to Richard Petty. So we're closing that gap right there. A lot of the same features are going in there. The 14-foot trail on the west side, the 8-foot sidewalk on the east side, resurfacing the road, adding curb and gutter where it currently is a rural section right now. We're building the pedestrian tunnel at Embry-Riddle. We did a pedestrian count there a couple months ago. We did a count on Tuesday. We did a count on Wednesday. Tuesday, we had near 1,500 pedestrian crossings at that main intersection. Wednesday, we had almost 1,700. And that was from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. because most of the students are done by then. As you know, there's nighttime events at Embry-Riddle. So there's a great need. This is probably one of the busiest pedestrian intersections I've seen in the district. I can't say for a fact it is, but I don't know if I've ever seen 1,700 pedestrians crossing from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you can see the need. Also, last October, unfortunately, 3 students were hit at the crosswalk. They were in the crosswalk doing the right thing. And unfortunately, a driver went through the red light and struck them. So this is a very important project to us, obviously, and the university. Segment 2B is from International Speedway North to Mason Avenue. We're doing some median improvements up to the hospital's main entrance. We're doing some more sidewalk there from where West Marine is, from that gap of sidewalk up to the intersection. That will not be 14 foot, but it's just also sidewalk improvements, closing in that little bit of canal that's right there, upgrading the traffic signals to 2 mast arms, and of course, mill and resurfacing the road all the way up. This is just a quick little look of the existing typical section. Let me see, did I skip one? No. So this is about where the tunnel is going to be, looking north to the pedestrian overpass. So you can see we're narrowing the lanes a little bit. What you were not showing is the 14-foot path on the west side. Please trust me, it's going to be there. This graphic was done a long time ago. We're working on new graphics. And then the 8-foot sidewalk on the right side, 11-foot lanes, and of course, landscape medians. This is the pedestrian tunnel, if you will. At the intersection is stairs go on both sides of the intersection going down to the tunnel. I think you said there's a pointer here. Was that the red button?
Yes.
So up here at the intersection, and I'll go the other side too, so you don't have to turn all the way around, but the tunnel will go under the road right here or here, right here. So we'll have stairs at the intersections, and then what you see coming up from the northern end of it is the ADA, or the American with Disability Act's ramps. That'll tie in there. We're also making a pedestrian crossing from the ADA ramps over to the ICI Center, where a lot of the student parking is taking place right now. So a tremendous amount of pedestrian traffic there. We're also working with the college. We may, or they may, make another pedestrian connection over to their main parking lot there, although less needed. Yes, ma'am.
The incline into the tunnel and out of the tunnel, I'm just thinking somebody in a wheelchair.
Yeah, it'll be your standard ADA ramps. It'll go down, then flat surface, down, flat surface. So yeah, we're definitely meeting all of current ADA laws. Good question.
What direction are we faced right now?
You're facing south. So let's say you're standing next or up above the pedestrian walkover, you're looking towards the intersection, the main intersection.
Photo before was facing south.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I didn't purposely try to do that, but this is the segment looking north to Halifax, through Halifax Hospital, common area there. We're putting in the raised median, the sidewalk. And then there already is a sidewalk on both sides of the road. I should mention too, that we're doing corridor lighting throughout. We'll be doing the design of Florida Power and Light. We'll be installing the lighting. Segment 3 is the last segment. This is from Belleville Road up to Aviation Center / Bellevue Avenue. same typical, if you will. We're going to resurface the road. We're going to add curb and gutter. We're going to put in some raised medians for landscaping and define the turn lanes a lot better. We're going to put in the 14-foot trail on the west side all the way up to Bevel Road, where currently no sidewalk exists from Hancock to Bevel now. So this was needed a long time ago, but we're finally going to get ready to do this. So, and then again, replace all the signals with mast arms. I'll go through the schedule here just a minute. This is looking south. So if you're down near Hancock is the next intersection on your right, and then looking all the way up to the top of the hill is Bevel or State Road 400. This is just a little slide to show the sequencing. Segment 1, we're going to open bids this fall. We're going to start construction. This says Q1 of 2027. We're going to try to get started by December or sometime in December of this year with the construction. We don't know for sure how long, but probably 9 months plus, counting for weather after that. For the full construction, by that time, we'll be letting or opening the bids on segment 2. And that'll go for, again, another year, almost 9 months to build the pedestrian tunnel and all the improvements. And then in summer of 28, we're going to open the bids for segment 3. So for the driving public, it's going to look like one long continuous construction project, unfortunately. But fortunately, we were able to get the money to do it. So there's a bright side, right? We can afford to do it this way. We just can't do it all in one time. And be honest, if we did it all in one, it's almost 3.5 miles. It'd probably take 2 or 3 years to build anyway. So,
Disruption.
Yeah, it is. Good thing about we've worked with Embry-Riddle on access to the canal. So we're going to use their property. We hope to have our contractor not have to close a lane while they're piping that canal. So we're trying to work everything we can to make it easier on the public. This is an important slide I want to talk about. So our standard process, once we've identified all our right-of-way needs, which we recently just completed, we would need another 2 years to go buy the right-of-way. We've got strip takes along the corridor for the widening, for the trail, for the lighting, for the relocated utilities. Again, that would take 2 years. It always takes 2 years. However, with our tremendous partnership with the city of Daytona Beach, Volusia County, and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, they're going to donate the right-of-way to us. So we were able to advance this by at least 2 years. So instead of seeing something in 3032, you're going to see everything complete by hopefully 3030. So that's very important. We cannot have done this without our partners, and it's greatly appreciated. When you see them, thank them. I can go back to any slides. I appreciate your time. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
I
didn't have Emily's energy, but I wish I did.
I have a comment. That seems like a really fast schedule. The locals were used to the 50 years to widen over road.
Yes.
Growing up here, so that's good.
It's a fair statement.
That canal, it brings back memories. When I was a student there, we'd have tug of war, 15 people on each end of the road, drag the other side through that canal.
A small anecdote, the campus moved up here in the 50s, right? They were down in Miami.
And my dad helped bring them down.
So did my father. He worked for Southern Bell, and he and a whole crew of people, they loaded up every truck they could find, any trailer, any available human that was able to lift. And they took a Florida Highway Patrol, gave them an escort down there. They loaded up everything and moved the campus here.
Miami Airport.
That's right. So, I'm sorry.
The Navy base right before it. Navy Air Base.
Yes, you have a question?
Around.
I'd be happy to.
Talking about a different project, and I don't want to bother the committee.
I'll do my best to make up an answer. I'm sorry, I'm kidding. Yes, I will stick around. Any questions on Clyde Morris?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, so this tunnel, will it be gated and closed at night or?
No, it'll be open. We're gonna put in, I can go back to that slide. I should have touched on those bases. There's a few points there because it is an important part of the tunnel project. If you can see on the little side, the little blue section there, including, of course, we're going to wrap it and do a tremendous amount of waterproofing so it doesn't get water intrusion from the walls. We're going to put in sump pumps at the bottoms of the ramps to collect any rainwater that comes down there. Embry-Riddle has offered to maintain those on a daily basis. We don't have the problem of trying to find out who's maintaining it. They'll be right there on site. We're also adding CCTV infrastructure in there, and Embry-Riddle is going to tie into their system. We're also going to add infrastructure for the blue light phones, which is the student safety phones, and then LED lighting, a lot of it in the tunnel.
Okay, and I have another question. So the portion of this trail on the west side of the road that passes in front of the airport runways, will it still be no stopping in front of the runways?
Yeah, we're not planning any new signals, no stop signs, no nothing there. We are, they currently have that asphalt trail that runs along the end of the runway.
Right.
We're going to build a new 14-foot trail through there, and the Embry-Riddle has asked us to remove that asphalt trail. So there's
Okay.
one choice, not two.
Okay, and they have, of course, they have a section where there are signs up saying you can't stop in front of the runways. So that's going to remain. That won't change.
We're not changing that. Now, whether they stop or not.
Thank you.
Can
Yes.
you build the tunnel first?
In order to take advantage of the funding that we have available, no. The tunnel itself is about 10 million. And our first project's like 9.8. So we had to put it into second phase in order to leverage the funding that we have available. And we're all using mostly federal funds on this. Yes.
The southern, but maybe the last section, there's almost no current infrastructure on the east side. So it'd be really nice if that was done first, and then you destroyed or recreated the west side so that you wouldn't interrupt the only pedestrian facility that currently exists. Like, I take that to the grocery store, and if you worked on the west side first, there'd be no way to travel along Clyde Morris.
I'll look at our MOT phasing and see how they laid
You
it
could
out.
phase it such that the new stuff goes in first, so we can use the old stuff while it exists.
We'll do our best.
Okay, just trying to think ahead on that. And the other thing is 14 feet is like a lot of real estate. And I'm thinking we have all these walkers and bicyclists and scooters and everything. In New York, you see they'll break up these wide areas with a bi-directional cycle path and a place for pedestrians. So it kind of gives people a place to be.
Good
At these
idea.
different speeds. I mean,
The scooters.
I don't know if it's possible to delineate. So they'll have like asphalt colored bi-directional bike lane on one side and then some trees and then.
We don't have that much real estate on that, but we could look at separating the uses.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, bi-directional bike lane and then it just, and it's like different colored. And so people, just to try to get people to share better.
I'll get with our traffic engineers and see what.
But
we
it's
can
kind of
do.
this nice sections in Brooklyn that are like that, where they have the street, the parking, the bi-directional bike lane, the trees, the sidewalk, everyone has a place to be. And it's kind of nice.
Say I'm on a good 14-foot trail that's got pedestrians on one side and
Yeah.
cyclists on the other. It's beach side, so that makes a little more sense, but I do have images. I can certainly share that.
Yeah, we'll look into that. I don't know if we have, I don't know. But I
Just
certainly look into it.
Yeah, because we have all these electric devices and walkers. Nice.
I'll look and see.
And we thank you for every foot of those 14 feet.
Yes. I thank you too. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. Hey, I'll stick around.
Hey, staff comment?
Yeah, TPO staff will be in touch with members of the project review subcommittee to schedule a meeting to do score projects received on our project. Either late this month or sometime next month.
We get many projects.
How many did we get?
Still going through them.
You got a lot?
How many?
So more than last year.
Oh, good.
Last year.
At the lunch?
Packed dinner too.
Any other staff member comment? All right. A lot of information items in your agenda. Look at them at your leisure. BPAC member comments. I'll start on my left side. All right.
I don't have anything to add. Thank you to the speakers. Very good.
Hey, Bob?
Summer's here.
Well, I have a few things. I don't know how many people still get the print edition of the Daytona Beach News Journal, but in Monday's edition, there's a picture of our own Victor Ramos.
Really?
Yes, I was hoping he'd be here to get his autograph, but yes, he's running for Deltona mayor. So
That's right.
yeah, that's great. When I read the paper, I said, hey, I know this guy, you know? The other thing I have is the traffic crossing circle at Route 1 and Royal Palms is still covered over.
I have an update for you.
Oh, you do? Thank you.
Yes.
Yes?
So, sorry, I'm checking my notes. So the Royal Palms is currently scheduled to be activated on March 12th.
Excellent. Thank you, because we went through that on Monday and it was dicey, to
Right.
say the least.
So the new signal at County Road 13 and US 1 that
We went
was
through that.
activated on last week, March 5th. So this one's scheduled to be tomorrow.
Oh, perfect.
Now pending weather or unforeseen circumstances.
Correct. But that's great news. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see. The other thing is, I have to apologize to FDOT about roundabout because I'm not a fan of roundabouts. But I went through the one at Cody's Corner on Monday, and it was okay. You know, went through it on my bicycle, and you know there was no issues. I mean, there's no bike lane, but you don't need one out there. So I'm becoming a fan of some of the roundabouts, okay, but not all of them. Yes.
Is that
So
a single lane roundabout?
yes, it is. Yes,
That helps.
that helps. It does. Yes. Basically, that's all I really had today. Okay. Thank you.
And welcome.
I don't
Yeah.
have any comments.
I just have a few updates to questions that were asked last time. So Gail, you asked about the Williamson Boulevard project from Strickland Range to Granada. You had mentioned that you thought the sidewalks were wider. So I did confirm that they are 5-foot wide sidewalks. The county, it is a county project. It was, well, it's a legislative appropriation project, so the department's role is minimal and it's not a state roadway. But the county did confirm that the segment has 5-foot sidewalks and that it is consistent with the rest of the Williamson corridor.
There's so much, there are so many apartment units that have gone up in the last 5 to 8 years, with more going up on the west side. I mean, don't go down Williamson, it's crazy right now. And to have 5-foot sidewalks, people walk, people ride, people are on their scooters, people are pushing strollers. 5-foot wide is just not enough, not enough. Yeah. And did you already also check on what's going on Hand?
Yes, Hand between Clyde and Nova, that's also a county project. So Volusia County told me that the county contractor will begin widening from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. That's the activity you see there, and construction will be completed by February 2027.
And are they going to widen between Clyde Morris and Williamson?
Clyde Morris and Nova.
Clyde Morris and Nova, okay. And sidewalks?
I do not have the information on sidewalk widths, but I do have the county project manager's contact information. I can provide that to you, or I can,
Sure. Thank you.
reach out to the customer. And then I know Larry, that was your first question. You also had a question about in front of the church, the sidewalk. So that area of the sidewalk was removed to install drainage. And they're anticipating the concrete subcontractor to come back to the site on March 23rd. So until then, the crew is monitoring for safety.
Happy to have a date.
This is down on down from US 1 and the Royal Palms Parkway. So it's, in front of the Church of the Rock.
Yes, it's
the
near
Rock
County Road 11.
Transportation Center.
It's near where they put the new traffic signal.
Yeah, where they,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's just south of there on US 1. Maggie, I spoke with Lorraine about your concern with the ballers, but she said she's been working with you and that it's been
Yes,
removed.
that's,
Okay,
that is as settled as it's going
Okay,
to get
perfect.
until we get people to follow rules about what's allowed on trails and what is. And that's an enforcement thing.
from my understanding, they've been removed. Yes.
They did widen it, yes, 38 inches, which is more than ADA standards. So the county did what they could and still prevent our ATVs and all kinds of other illegal trail users from getting on the trail and causing all kinds of disruption from the residents and other trail users.
And hopefully set a state. Wait till my turn.
This is where the trail crosses Providence.
No, Cortland.
Cortland.
Yeah, right where Emily was talking about starting the new trail, and it was very narrow. It was like 29 inches.
Scary.
People on three-wheelers could not get through. And we're still not happy because I see that they tore the fence down. They still don't like the bollards. But at least they're letting the people with disability aids through.
And then I was told there was a question, but I wasn't sure who asked or when that was asked about the incomplete sidewalk at Williamson and LPGA. Okay, thank you. Well, I did some digging. I found out LPGA is a Volusia County roadway. There is a DOT project near that area, but the section of the right-of-way sidewalk you're talking about is not within that right-of-way, nor is it going to become part of the DOT right-of-way. But like I said, there is a project on LPGA from US 92 to Williamson Boulevard. And the project is under design to increase the width of the sidewalk, but it is not funded for construction yet. And that segment, the segment between US 92 and West I-95, DOT is working with Volusia County on a jurisdictional transfer process. So I don't have a good answer for you other than that it's not.
So you think the county would be a little reluctant to repaint it until it gets gonna be all redone? Or who should I advocate to?
Volusia County.
Volusia County, okay, thank you.
And how wide are they planning to make it?
Based on the design, 12 foot, but
So
it is
at
not
LPGA and
funded
Williamson.
for, no, just the segment that DOT is working on from between, the department's working on between 92 and Williamson. 92. Yeah, just that segment, yeah.
I'm gonna be pushing
But like I
for a
said,
wider
it's not-
sidewalk on Williamson.
Gotta move the Margaritaville.
No.
That's all I have.
Okay, I have a question, and you may not have it now. The interchange, as you know, is happening on Pioneer. And I've noticed that the 2-lane road, a lot of cones out there. Are they widening that, or just where you have ditches on each side, maybe prepping it for piping to go in there? I don't expect you to have
I
the
can
answer
find
now.
that out for you.
Yeah, no, I was just curious.
That's,
Maybe next time.
yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, what do you have?
No comments at this time, but I reserve the right to have comments in the future.
Thanks.
Not too much, very busy making exams for my students, so I've said my piece.
Gail?
I'll just remind everybody not to go down Williamson. It's crazy.
You could probably get some signs from Emily.
Well, they cleared a whole bunch of land on the west side, and between that and working on the lane on the west side, people are having to do this. It's
maddening. I've been down there.
It is awful. And of course, only 5-foot sidewalks.
Single serving sidewalks.
Gary
I'm good. Thank you.
and Maggie, what's happening?
Okay, well, it's March, and so it's our biggest event of the year, the Springs Family Fun Ride. And this time we also have a walk in collaboration with Volusia. And we have four different bike rides, all the way from a 5-mile ride to the very hall and back that lets people take advantage of the history that's happening this Saturday. Then we have the 10-mile or 11-mile to Green Spring and the 18-mile to Blue Springs and the 28-mile around the lake. And then we have a fabulous barbecue with all kinds of different kinds of barbecue and also some other main course dishes and a lot of side dishes. It's all going to be very delicious. And then we have prizes where we always have a lot of really exciting prizes. It's a prize drawing, one of which is always a high quality bicycle. So you don't want to miss it. And as you know, it's St. John's River to Sea Loop Alliance memberships. So we are running a membership drive right now. So if you want to come and you would like a discount, just call me.
It's a fantastic event. I think it was 2-3 years ago when I was there, and this little girl's doing the drawing. The prize is cute little girl, 2-3 years old, or young parents. And then I believe at the very end, either she or somebody else did a drawing and she won this beautiful little bicycle.
Oh, that
I thought that was so
little
cool.
Mark. He's
Mark.
a boy. He looks
Yeah,
like a
he's a
girl.
Oh, little boy, okay.
He did look like a girl,
Yeah,
but now,
it was
now he's all grown up.
Okay.
But yeah, he won the bike.
It was the most unbelievable
So excited.
It was. And the food definitely was good.
And, you know, we always have a great bike. Giveaway. Thanks to JC's and thank you, Jason, for.
I'll be the caboose on the 5-mile ride.
Jason always helped out with the kids and the kids love Jason. So that's a great thing. And we had a lot of kids and we're going to get even, oh my God, we've got already 16 kids. You're going to have your hands full. But we have 2 other sweeps, so you'll be okay.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any BPAC members online? If so, would you like to comment? Yes, no?
I was waiting. No.
Okay. How about a motion to adjourn?
So moved.